TGIF. Thank Godot it's Friday. How's it going, y'all? Ooh, what kind of Friday music do we want here? Something a little up. All right. Let's do it. This is our last stream for the week. No stream tomorrow. I'll be moving furniture. I had an idea for our next Saturday stream. So not tomorrow, but like next week. Would it be cool? Would it be cool to play Void War on stream? Would that be cool? Is that something we should do? Play this like FTL copy. It's like that's like a chaos like cruiser. Like, look at that. That is like literally like a chaos warship. Like I've had one of these before. It's like a FTL 40K mashup. People seem to like it. 90% of 500 came out like less than a week ago. First, it truly is like an FTL carbon copy. It's kind of incredible. I'm kind of into it. I haven't played it yet, but I own it now. And I'm a bit of a 40K nerd. Not like I don't have any armies anymore and I don't play, but like I'm familiar with the lore. And I always found it to be a pretty interesting world. See, I don't know. I'm thinking about playing this on Saturday. Again, not tomorrow. Next Saturday. Oh, will I even be here? Or is that next... Okay, yeah, no, that's the second Saturday. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I think we might start playing this on the weekend. As like a fun... Maybe we can bring more FTL people onto the stream. Man, yeah, this looks like they just took it and they just made it bigger. Oh, there's like all these different crew options. Yeah, this looks super cool. I'm like kind of really into it. They really didn't change anything in the formula. I mean, I'm sure we'll find stuff that they decided to do differently. It seems like they just did more of everything. Yeah, this is FTL. FTL 40K. In the 41st millennium, there is only FTL. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to play this next week on stream. You see, they said release date May 30th, and then down here you see release date June 2nd. They got stuck in a... apparently they got stuck in a Steam approval issue. Happens to the best of them. They submitted for cert or something, and they got rejected. They had to make some changes. Yeah, I'm excited to play this game. But not today. Today we're gonna hopefully finish up our compartmentalization thing. I really want to be done with this. I think we're getting close to something we like. I think there might just be a couple little tricks we need to resolve. I'm sorry for yesterday's stream. Yesterday's stream was like probably one of the most boring, awful streams that I've done. We were stuck thinking through like weird little code issues and we didn't show anything and it was rough. But I'm feeling better about the work today, so I think it'll be okay today. So if we make a little thing. So we make this. So you see what it's kind of doing? It's kind of like sloping up. Kind of want it to do this a little different. And then what it does is it can tell where what compartments are in front of other compartments, allegedly. Oh, it can't do it if you do it like that. So we have to figure out this foreground problem. Is it just because I made the wall double thick? Does that problem go away if I make it single thick? Yeah, it does. Okay. So yeah, so our masking thing is a little different. So if I mouse over this, it shouldn't show this. So yeah, we got to work on the masking a little bit, but I do want to tighten up this angle. I don't want it to be like this because this is kind of like what we had before where it kind of goes up and then over, but slightly. I want that to be more severe. So that's what we're going to start with. So we go cutaway blocks by compartment mask. And then what we do, we say this H offset. So right now we just have H offset be Z minus cursor coords. So it's weird that it starts like that. So I kind of want it to be that, but like times like 3. I want to see what that looks like. There's one problem with the way that I'm doing this right now, which is that the mask is going to need to get bigger as it goes up. At least by 1. At some point. So yeah, so like this is not good enough. We need to start with 0. So what we need to do... So we need to add a little buffer, I think. We need to add like a little... We need to add a 1 to this offset, but only for the initial step. Sorry, someone just called me. So I'm trying to sort it out here. Apologies for the noise there. All right. So what we want to do is when this number would be 1, this number is 1, we want it to be 0. Otherwise, we want it to just be the number. There's going to be a consequence. So what we're essentially doing is we were taking a mask, and as we went up, we were shifting it forward. The problem is if we skip that the first time, I think the foreground is going to look wrong. I need to fix some stuff before it's clear whether or not that will be true. I want to start thinking about it. I really want to settle on something for this. So we can go. So this is closer to what I want. But I want it to be set one higher. I kind of don't think I want it to go over by 2s either. Yeah, we're going to need to make the mask bigger as we go up. That's unfortunate. But we can do that. And we could even do that while we're building the mask. Right now, I'm just building a single layer mask, and we're just transposing it as we move up. But we could even just build the mask in 3D, because I don't like this. I don't like the way the decks are compressed like that. I would like to have at least one block separating them. I know it feels like we're kind of going backwards a little with this. Kind of a previous model that we have of the cutaway system. I kind of like it the best. So like this, I think this is reasonable because you can kind of see, you can kind of count the number of decks that are being peeled away. You can't really see any useful information there, but you can at least see that. The problem is it's not treating the first level correctly. The first level needs to be offset by 1. And by first level, I mean the first level above our level, where you like literally can't see what's going on in the room. So how did I phrase this wrong? If z minus cursor chords equals 1, would it be -1? Is that what's happening? We're just gonna do like a number of layers of this. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of doing it, but it's kind of messing it up a little bit. I see. Oh, here's what it should be. It should be, if z minus cursor chords is equal to -1, then it should just be -1. Otherwise, it should be this times 2. Hey, Diginanigans. Happy Friday. Thank Godot it's Friday. How are you doing? We're having a nice quiet day here. I'm hoping we're finishing up the cutaway system today. I don't want to work on it on stream anymore. So maybe if I have to, I can work on it on Monday by myself. But I really want to be done with this. With some other things. But we're getting close. We're getting close to something I think I can be happy with. We just need to do a couple other things. So right now we're just tightening up the... Oh, I see. The problem is we're doing this, but then we're not. We need to offset the whole thing. Or I need to just generate the masks separately. Didn't catch the scream yesterday. Yeah, we did literally this, but worse. Yesterday's stream was incredibly boring. We just finagled with some logic. So I've added the exception for the level above, but the problem is then it's going back to the normal curve. We need to actually build that exception into the curve. Which we could do just by treating that a little differently. No, it needs to be accounted for. Or it needs this. Or it needs this check. I kind of don't want to do that because if we do this right, we don't actually have to... I don't think we actually have to generate the mask bigger. If we do the offset correctly. Now that I'm thinking about it. You're doing pretty good. You think your Friday workday is pretty much done, unless QA comes back with anything big. I think it's important that we deploy something today to production. I think it's important that we deploy something at like, let's say 4:20 this afternoon. Don't test it, don't stage it, don't, you know, just let's get it out there. Let's move fast and break things, right? This Friday. Let's create value for the shareholders. Yeah, I think my workload this afternoon is pretty reasonable too. So I'm not too worried. I might even be able to get out a little early, which would be pretty cool. I was thinking we might start doing some like Let's Plays on Saturdays. Not tomorrow, because I can't stream tomorrow, but like... I'm thinking about playing Void War, which is like the FTL 40K game that just came out. I think that could be kind of fun, doing some like playthrough streams. I don't know where I'd put my camera though. I was looking at the UI. I think I would just block the game UI to some extent. Diginanigans, you're not deploying anything. You just have some programmed emails that are sent off to a client. They fire off on demand. Nice. That's how you make the clients feel important, is you immediately respond to their emails, you know? Even if it's automated, you gotta send them something. Specifically programmed as Outlook templates, which are a bit of a headache to maintain. That's cool, that's cool. I need to get into that for a work project. I need to start building some emails and code dynamically. I'm not great at HTML, so I'm not really looking forward to that part. If I run into some trouble, I might bug you about it. All right, so what we need to do is we can't have this like manually set the value. We have to like fix our curve. So we need to say Z. We need to say Z plus, we need to say +1. And then we need to multiply the... Well, here's the thing is we don't necessarily want to multiply this by 2. We could multiply by 2, then add 1. That might work. Actually, it might be -1. Oh, no, it's +1 because it's going to be negative.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp, no Jewel. How's it going? What have you been up to lately? Are you going to Godot Fest later this year? I heard they were just announcing it. In Europe, yeah. There's a Godot event in I think Munich, maybe? I don't remember. München? Probably. Sick. I don't think I can. But someday I would like to go to a Gamescom or something out there. I've never been. I've been out of the country twice. Once when I was a baby, and another time I was in New Mexico, and we just walked across the border to have dinner and walked back, and there was no anything. It was a totally open border at the time. But this was like 2005 or something. It was crazy. Crazy to compare that with what we've got going on nowadays. Diginanigans, more than happy to. TLDR, HTML for emails is mostly code from the late 90s. It's all tables with a sprinkling of CSS. Okay, well that'll help at least. All right, I think this is it. I think I finally got the curve that I want. So the next floor up is cut away to the same extent as this floor. I can't like show it with the cursor, or it'll go away. So it's like the same level, and then it starts to like linearly curve in, like a straight line curve in. And I think, and this is kind of similar to what we were doing before, but it's compartment based instead of being cursor based. And I think that was the problem we were having before. Is before it followed the cursor around and it was very busy, but here it's like you can see whatever's in the compartment. The thing that we need to fix now is the compartment masks aren't being built correctly. So if I do this, so like this one is paying attention to the blocks behind it, and this one is paying attention to these two, and this one is not including this corner. So yeah, so this is actually concerning. This thing that's happening right here, to me that implies that this is not. Oh, I see what's happening. Maybe it's not checking. It's checking 1 0 and 0 1, but it's not checking 1 1. It needs to check 1 1. Oh, where would I do that? Yeah, I was hoping it'd be easier, Diginanigans. I was hoping I'd be able to just use Google email templates and then just do the dynamic field substitution myself, but like it looks like I'm gonna have to write my emails from scratch with HTML and everything in it explicitly. Can't just use a template. So yeah, that'll be fun. That's a problem for whenever someone complains about the fact that we're still paying GMAS for all this stuff. Which I think I've got a couple months. I think I've got a few months before someone's bothered by that. Everyone's always like, how about we get Dave to build a product so that we don't have to pay the monthly fees to just rent the product. Yeah. Okay, so we're close to this. We need to fix this. We shouldn't be pulling the compartment behind us. And if we're looking back like here, we should be getting the compartment diagonally in front of us. So I'm going to fix the diagonal in front of us thing, because I think I understand what's causing that. I don't know where's causing that, because I've written too many new functions to cover this recently. I think we're going to delete some of these. Yeah, the cutaway tiles by cursor chords, gone. I liked this walk the hierarchy. I like this This compartment hierarchy thing. I'm gonna call this cutaway blocks by compartment hierarchy. We're gonna keep this for a while because I like this. Although we should probably have the function in the opposite order. Uncle Bob would want us to do it this way. Cutaway tiles by compartment. We don't need this anymore. Get rid of this as well. This uses the part hierarchy. Cutaway tiles by compartment. Cutaway blocks by compartment hierarchy. This doesn't actually define the... What in the world are we doing here? Did I not finish writing this? I might not have finished writing this. I'll put this one up here. I'm gonna get rid of all of that soon. Actually, I might get rid of it now. I liked my little compartment hierarchy dealio. But we're not going to use it. Oh, did I use the right functions? Yep. No, Joel, you see I got a website. You're currently working on one too. You started mainly for legal reasons in Germany to have an impressum. An imprint. It's a legally required statement of ownership for commercial websites in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Oh, cool. From Latin, impressum, be impressed. Engraved, pressed in. Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't use my website as an inspiration for anything. It's this trash WordPress website that I made. It's really bad. It's kind of optimized to be looked at on mobile. And it's kind of just like a link tree with a little more words. And in fact, I need to add some additional links to this. I need to add like B-Sky. And I probably could swap email to contact or something like that. I could probably swap my website to like a card, C-A-R-R-D, whatever. Probably be better off messing around with WordPress. Shenanigans, you're gonna go work on your auto tiler for a while too. You got a prototype mostly up and running. Is a very simple web app. It's only rendering in 2D right now. It's flat colors and looks ugly. Flat colors are great. What are you talking about? All the core logic is there, and it exports files that should be consumable by the game. That's pretty fancy separation that you've got there. It's pretty cool. All right, where am I? I'm up here. So we're looking for where we would check. So we're checking 1, 0 and 0, 1. But what we need to check is we're checking Lu and Olo. But we also need to check Ulo. 1, 1, 0. Hey, Lucky Trickster, how's it going? Happy Friday. How are you doing? All right, so where am I doing this check? I don't know if I can listen to this lounge music for that long. This is Chill Bill by Milfy Cougar. Okay, I don't love this song. Okay, maybe I picked the wrong website, the wrong... I wanted something a little more upbeat, but still kind of cool. We'll see about this. Good. Loki, you're good. You know, working on projects and catching some streams. Hell yeah. Surfing the web, as one does. All right, so we're finishing up our cutaway system for our little tile, for our little auto tiler. I'm desperate to finish that cutaway system up like this week or weekend. I want to be done with it. I want to be back to working on something else. So what we've kind of settled on so if I make like a bunch of rooms like this, when you do the cutaway, it does like this, which is similar to what we had a few iterations ago, but it's compartment based now instead of cursor based. The thing we need to do though, still, is so like, let's say I draw these blocks and stuff here. Look at what happens. Oh, I shouldn't allow, we need to add something to disallow 3x3 blocks because it's gonna mess up everything. So like this. So if I do this, I still need a way of seeing through here. So we need to add like a very small locally scoped cutaway by cursor so that I can see behind these walls that are within the compartment, because the compartment cutaway thing isn't gonna know what to do. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this now. Otherwise, generally. But yeah, the one thing we need to fix is this diagonal corner issue, where the compartment is supposed to cut away itself and like the compartment's immediately in front of it. But for one thing, it's looking behind itself rather than in front of itself, which is weird. And it's not including the corners. It's not including a corner diagonal compartment, which it needs to do. So we are going to add that functionality now. I wonder if I want to reapply the auto tile outline, the black outline, after I cut away. I'm like not sure. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so I think the diagonal problem is probably here when we build the mask. I don't think it's a problem with the actual flood fill. For a second, I was worried about that, but it makes more sense. So we've got positive X block, positive Y block. And now let's just make one more. So we can have this first. And then what we need to do is we need to say block positive XY block equals blocks dot get or default block coords plus vector 3i dot right plus vector 3i dot up. So is this early out okay still? This early out basically says if the X and the Y blocks only have the same compartments as the center block, then don't even worry about adding them. Yeah. So this part here needs to just say positive X or positive Y or positive XY dot parts. I'm going to shorten this to... I'm going to be smart and use the rename function. We're just going to call it posx. Call it posy. Call this posxy. And that should at least account for the corner. Trying to think of any moments where this is going to bite us in the butt. And I can't think of any. have this early out actually happen after here. This needs to be POSIX whiteout parts. This needs to be moved down. This needs to be done in the other order. Let's see. Let us see. Oh, wait. When do we do... This is the first pass to mask the chords in the cursor blocks compartment. Yeah. Okay, yes. This is part of the first pass. All right, let's see if we did it. Hey, Rhiannon Journey, happy Friday to you as well. How are you doing? Oh, uh-oh. How did I mess this up? Hey, Anonymo, how's it going? All right, so here's our cutaway model. We're back to this kind of thing, but we're doing it by compartment instead of by cursor. I'm a little concerned. Okay, I think we are going to need to make the mask bigger. Because we're going over by 2 instead of by 3, which means we have this kind of... I kind of think it is helpful for that little, like, where are you at in terms of the height? I think it's a really good shorthand way of counting the height. You're doing well? That's great. It's great to hear. Okay, so the problem we think that we potentially have fixed is the diagonal issue. So if I do this... And then if this looks normal, okay, it does not look normal. So for some reason that piece is not... All right, let's try to figure out the other thing, which is like... So is the corner piece getting grabbed on accident? Because you're going from here? Yeah, it probably is. How are we going to avoid that? So I think what's happening is... Oh. Wait. Huh. Yeah, it's weird. So the way we're going through this to build this mask is we go through each coordinate. First we identify the compartments that the mouse cursor is hovering over. We go through each coordinate. We check the block there. We see if that block has any of the compartments that the cursor is over. Excuse me. And then, if it is, we add this coordinate to the block mask. Sure. And then, the thing is, we check all of these positive stuff. What if we only checked the positive XY coordinate? What if we ignored these other two? What would happen? So what if we swapped this with just this? Will that give us, will that just kind of magically give us the behavior that we want? That would be an excellent, very simple solution to this problem. Which probably means it's not going to work. Oh, weird. He's treating positive as negative for some reason, in a way. It's kind of weird. So now it's much worse than before. Okay. So this is correct. This is wrong. This is wrong. If I'm on a wall, it's correct. So the wall is being treated correctly, but not this. Yeah. What if I hit the diagonal? Okay, so if I hit the corner, it treats it correctly. So that's fascinating. Oh, but that's only because the cursor is over all 4 compartments. So if it's over just this one, it's not doing it. I see. All right. So what that means this is the Chill Guitars channel, by the way, and oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, where's my chill guitar? All right, so here's what I'm thinking. So we go through, we grab the block coordinate, we check if this block has any of the cursor parts. Sure. If it does, we add it to the mask. And then what we do here is we say if bit.dot has only the block parts, we don't do anything. Shouldn't these block parts be getting added to the adjacent parts list? Is that maybe the problem? That could be part of the problem for sure. So we want to say adjacent parts equals bit dot set adjacent parts block parts. We're clearing the cursor parts from the adjacent parts list. That's curious. We can keep doing that for now. Bit.clear block parts cursor parts. All right, let's see if that makes a difference. I might mess something up. But it's already messed up, so like how much worse could it be? All right, so now it's just everything. But that's because it's hitting the wall. Okay, so we can't do that. So here's what we need to do. We can't do this. What we want is an if bit does not have only the block parts. Let's try this. Let's try it this way and see how it works. This will behave differently. My concern with doing it this way is that it won't be able to handle a double wall. There's a question as to whether I should even allow a double wall. I probably shouldn't. I think it would be cool in some way, but I probably shouldn't allow for a double wall. I'm already going to have to disallow triple walls, so I might as well just have like a restriction on wall placement. Because this just straight up won't work if you've got a double wall. Oh, this is really bad. How is it that bad? How did I make it so bad? What is that doing? Okay. Let's see. See what we got going on here. All right, so if the block parts aren't exactly the same as the cursor parts, Continue. I think that's fine. It doesn't seem to be fine. Oh, this is gonna mess up how the block mask works. Okay, so we need to do this a slightly different order. So we need to say if not bit dot has any block parts, cursor parts, then we continue. Otherwise, we add it to the block mask. And then if it's not only all right, let's try this. Rhiannon journey. I need a cutaway from my cutaway so I can see what is going on inside. I have that. I sort of have that. You're joking, but I kind of have something like that. It doesn't work in every case because the system isn't written that way. But like here, you see there's a different cutaway system working. This is the exterior cutaway system. This is like the edit time cutaway. And in fact, I might make it so that this is the only form of cutaway when you're in edit mode. This might just be the edit mode cutaway system, just because it's better for when you're building the ship. Because yeah, it doesn't care about compartments and things like that. Oops. And I'm using both of them right now. Okay, so this is back to working normally for this standard case. And then what are you doing in the specific case? Okay, that's very wrong. What's going on there? That's right. That's very wrong. That's deeply wrong. Okay, so we're not... So if we're touching the wall, we're okay. So when I get to these edge pieces here and they see the wall, they should... Like this works if I'm touching like the diagonal. And I understand why. All right, we got ads coming in a few minutes. I might take a break when that happens real quick. So this works, but it's very clear to me why. It's because the walls know which two compartments are on the other side of it. If I'm in this compartment, it should be able to find this. I think I know what's happening. So here, so we do the if not bit has any. Here. If not bit has only, it's this. This is a problem. No. This is correct. So if it has only the cursor parts, which it should, then we do this. We grab our diagonal block, and then here we say if bit.has has only pause XY parts, block parts. Continue. I wonder if my has only function is wrong. No, I think it works. We'll double check just to be sure. All right, we got ads in 1 minute. Has only field ulong value. If field is not exactly equal to value. Yeah, okay. That's correct. I wonder if the problem's here in the second pass, actually. Maybe the first pass is working. What does the second pass do? So we grab blocks. If not bit dot has any adjacent parts. Doesn't have any adjacent parts. Dang. Oh well, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll look at this. I think we can figure this out. It could also be a problem with displaying the cutaway. It's possible. Unlikely, but possible. But we'll work our way down. We'll figure it out. All right. Enjoy the music. Thanks for hanging out today. If you got to run, thanks for stopping by. We'll be back in like a few minutes. Hang tight. All right, we're back. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Needed a bit of a bio break there. All right. You don't have any weekend plans? Like I said, I'm moving furniture tomorrow. Pretty thrilling. And then Sunday, I'm going to go to a grocery store that has a Zatar in bulk. You can buy Zatar in bulk. You can even bring your own containers. It's pretty cool. It's pretty hippy-dippy. I don't usually go there. It's just out of the way. No judgment. But that's pretty exciting. I ran out of Zatar this week. It's good stuff. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's good on... You could just have, like, labna toast. You can just put it in some oil with a little vinegar and, like, dip bread into it. It's so good. Zatar is some good stuff. It's a little too complex for me to make myself, though. Diginanigans, you're fixing a broken shower. And other than that, who knows? Nice. Yeah, I gotta move a big heavy desk downstairs into the garage. That's my heavy furniture moving thing tomorrow. I've got someone who's gonna come help me, hopefully. So hopefully I don't die, but probably hurt my back. Okay, so the adjacent compartments thing isn't working correctly. And so why is that? So we do a has only check here. Right. Oh. Just has only is has only. Oh. Who uses has only? Or is it just used at these two spots? It is. Has only is wrong. It should be field is equal to value, not equal to. Oops. Okay, I was like, my code is right. Why is my, like, most of my code seems like it's right. And then I'm like, look down at the utility function and it's like backwards. I'm like, oh God. That's why utility functions are not always the best. I even have it correctly here for an index. I just didn't have it correct for this. Rhiannon Journey, no big plans. You moved your office around yesterday so that you wouldn't have to worry about it over the weekend. Nice. You want to change the setup? You're now in a room with access to sunlight. Sunlight is nice. I have a big window. Like, one of my walls is basically a window. And it's such a shame. I basically keep it closed, like, the whole workday because, like, the monitors are right here and they'll just get obliterated. But it's like, I definitely feel like I'm working in the dark even in the middle of summer, and it doesn't feel good. Maybe I need to, like, move my setup a little bit so that I'm less susceptible to light. But, you know, having a green screen and everything behind me makes it a little tough. But that's cool. I hope your new office setup is really nice. It sounds like you got nice natural light, and that's good. All right, well, we fixed a utility function. That's probably why none of this is working. So let's see. It kind of explains it. So this if not bit has only, and if this if bit has only they were going in the opposite. They were working opposite the way they were supposed to, and that has probably contributed significantly to the problem we were observing. Let's see how significantly. I need to implement a wall building limit that just doesn't let you... It doesn't let you do this. It only lets you draw, like, single thickness lines. Alright. 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 Alright, alright, alright. We got it. It's working the way it's supposed to. It's working. This is unfortunate. I sort of see. Okay, so not every case is working. So why does this case result in weird behavior? Oh, because we don't extend from. Oh. Okay. How are we gonna fix that? So if my cursor is over here, maybe what we should do is we need to loop for each part here. We could do one of two things. One of the ways that we could approach this will work with double walls. It would make double walls work as a thing. I'm still not convinced I want to allow double walls. Because they would just kind of be boring. Like, people would just take up extra space to make the same number of rooms. And then you wouldn't have to worry about, like, fun, weird stuff. The other thing is the thing I was suggesting with the loop. Yeah, that was kind of some whiplash there, Diginanigans, as far as like, we did it. We didn't do it. That's fine. This edge case I can handle. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a loop here. And we're going to say for each part in the cursor parts, we're going to go through a loop. We'll at least do the first pass like that, I think. So we can say one non-animated ship it for the partial fix. Thanks, Rihanna Journey. That's rough. Diginanigans, would you want double walls in some spots though, so you could have computer consoles or other things in between them? So you could have computer consoles or other things in between them. Well, if they're double walls, there can't be anything between them because they're double. They're like next to each other. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So like you've got a wall and then you've got a computer console on one side and a computer console on the other side. No, that's we can handle that because the computer console doesn't exist on the block that the wall is on. It exists on the block in front of the wall. But that's super good. That's good thinking. I see you've been thinking about stuff like this. I think that's better too with when we start thinking about power distribution throughout the ship, because I want power conduits to actually run around the ship, and the best place to put power conduits is in the walls. So if you have double walls, then you have to think about like, does the power cross over here? I think it's just more interesting probably. There's probably more opportunity for fun, weird, emergent behavior if you're just forced to have single thick walls. I could maybe allow for double thick walls on the exterior of the ship. We could maybe allow for that. That's a special case that we could potentially handle. I love how my radio was like, I think it's time to play Amazing Grace. All right, so how are we going to iterate through here? I really need to switch compartments to like an actual thing, like an actual struct, so that I can make it enumerable. So, but instead, we're going to have to say for integer I equals 0, I is less than 64, I plus plus. Unless I have a bit dot enumerate or something like kind of other. Do I have any other helper functions that can help me with this? We have count. We have first. We could have next. We have last. So we could have public, static, integer, next, ulong, field, int, index. Random Journey, does the cutaway work for a square room enclosed in a larger square room? Oh. That's a good question. Probably not at the moment. I guess it would depend on what you meant by work. It's probably okay, but that's a fun edge case to test. Let's see what that does. I think it's going to behave badly for a number of reasons, but it might actually be okay. Oops. Forgot a wall. Oh, wait, I'm not doing that. I'm doing your chat. I'm doing what you suggested we try. So I'm going to make another room inside of this room. Yeah, so this room is considered to be in front of this room, and this room is considered to be in front of that room. So both rooms are considered to be in front of each other. So the cutaway system will do weird things here. So we're going to need to rely on like the local cutaway system for something like this. We may need to refine our process to handle something like this more elegantly. It's weird that this wall is not coming down. I wonder why that is. In my mind, this wall should be getting... This wall here should come down. At least like this part of it. Oop. This part of the wall should be hidden. So I wonder why it's not. That was a good check. We need to fix that. Okay. I think I can figure out a way to make that work. I don't feel like I need to write this. What I need to do is I need to write like a proper... I need to write a proper struct that's like a bit field struct. I'd eventually like one that can be different sizes, but I might as well just write one initially that's like a U long. Eventually, I'd like to write one that can like accommodate bigger, even bigger sizes. Like one that's like 2 U longs, so I can do like 128 bits or something. I don't want to do a bit array because that's a class. But there's probably another solution as well. So if we want to get next, we say for variable I equals index, I is less than 64, I plus plus. How is this last? Oh, it's the last one. I see. I see. So that just gives us an int. Oh, these aren't even first. This is like the index. It's not even giving us the value. That's not exactly what I want. I'm going to say I equals index plus 1. Index is greater than or equal to 63, even 62. I don't know if I want this helper function. It would help here. I want to write this differently. I want to go away from my weird little bit field, my bit helper class, and I want to make an actual struct soon. So we're just gonna do this really stupidly. So what we need to do, so we've decided what we're going to do is when we get the cursor coordinates, we're going to find all the compartments that the cursor is mousing over, and then we're going to process each compartment separately. The problem we were running into before was that we were processing the compartment all at once, and that doesn't work the way we've written this. But if we do each compartment one at a time, then we're okay. So we're going to say if bit dot first cursor parts. So this is going to find the first set bit. We're going to say if bit dot has only cursor parts first. So this will say, okay, cursor parts has a bit set. Does it only have one bit set? If it only has one bit set, then we just run this through once. Otherwise, we do it in a loop. Actually, we don't need to do that, do we? We can just say first. We can say do we have a check somewhere for if there are literally no parts on the cursor? If block.parts is not equal to 0. Okay, so we don't do this in that case. So we don't have to defend against that. We do have to do. So I don't actually have to do this check. I can just say 4 integer I equals 0, or I equals, we could say bit dot first. Cursor parts. I is less than 64. I plus plus. This I needs to become I. This is how I do nested loops. Don't yell at me. I find I have an easier time identifying the Roman numeral than I do identifying I versus J. I like I and I. It also helps that we're making like a Star Trek game. So we only need to do the second pass once. We don't need to do that multiple times. But we do need to nest the first pass. So instead of cursor parts, we're going to say ulong compartment equals cursor parts. We're going to say bit dot get cursor parts I. We don't need to do has any now. We're gonna stop getting these because I don't think we need them. All right, so we pick a particular compartment. We go off of that. We don't need to do the has only, do we? I think we do still. Okay, I wonder if this will work. This is going to end up adding the same coordinate, possibly multiple. Add is safe, though, to do multiple times, right? Oh, add is already a triad. Okay. Triad, not a triad. All right, let's see if that fixes that one edge case. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. All right, let's see what kind of behavior we get. Oh, this is a lot slower for some reason now. I know what's going wrong, but let's see if it fixed the weird edge case. It did. Okay, so we fixed the edge case, but we're like incredibly slow now, and I know exactly why. We need to say if bit.get. Say if compartment. We could say if bit.has compartment. We were looping a tremendous amount unnecessarily. Oh, we can just say, yeah, we can say it like that. Diginanigans, you're working on your own bug. It's driving you a bit crazy right now. You've got all your tiles in a simple... All right, hold on. I'm gonna use my mind's eye to visualize this for a second. You've got all your tiles in a simple one-dimensional array. Sure. You're transforming the index of each tile so it's 3D. However, because you're using a dual grid, your rendering grid is one cell larger in the X and Z dimensions. Okay, you're doing that to avoid Z fighting. Well, quote unquote Z fighting. I guess for you it's Y fighting. You've got a function to translate indexes between both grids, and it keeps drifting further off by 1 for each row it loops. I see. Seems like a simple fix, and the math all looks correct, but the end result is you have a diagonal strip of tiles where nothing can render. Like, you have one diagonal strip right in the middle where nothing can render. Like, it's just one dotted, like, like right along, like, the origin. That's interesting, because I don't have a dual grid. I have like an N grid, but I don't run into that problem because I resolve the Z fighting stuff in the tile map layers Z order. Yeah, okay, so so there is a diagonal strip along the origin where nothing can render. So neither grid is rendering? Neither of the dual grids? That's weird. Alright, this should be a lot faster now. I still want a better way of looping through a bit field, but that's fine. Oh, that was too far. Oh. Okay, that's much faster. Yeah, the looping was a problem. Okay, cool. This is behaving exactly the way I would want it to be. Now what we need to do, though... Now we need to fix the Rhiannon journey case of the donut room, the room within a room. So let's look at this and try to understand why the foreground walls aren't being cut down. Because these walls should be getting cut down. Doing the dual grid, because it cuts down on the amount of tiles you need to make every permutation. And post a link in the Discord that shows the purpose of it. Oh yeah, no, I think I understand the purpose of it. It's so that, like, you can have you know, you could have moss growing over stone and also dirt and also water or whatever, mud. I understand the purpose of not having to. Believe me, as a person making an N grid to solve this problem. Oh, I got three. I got 3 animating ships. We're doing good. This music's making me feel jaunty. All right, so this is good. We can use this to test a couple of things. But what I want to do is I want to understand why this foreground wall is not rendering or is not being cut down. So if we go back to like the more normal case, or this simple case of like just a cross of rooms here. What if I do add a double wall? It's going to be horrible, right? Oh, what? No way. I mean, I might still disallow double walls, but it seems to be working just fine, which is suspicious. Oh, I understand why it would be working. Cool. It doesn't totally work, so it breaks the corner case, but it works in a lot of other situations. Oh, does it not break the corner case, actually? Huh. Confusing. I still think I'm going to disallow it. Yeah, if you want to elaborate on the problem you're running into in the Discord shenanigans, I might have an easier time if I can visualize it. But I'm also happy to just be the rubber duck, you know? I'm just a rubber duck that talks back. That doesn't mean I'm helpful. So, actually, none of these are cutting the walls down, huh? It's just handling the above. It's not actually doing the second part, which is these foreground walls need to come down. Uh-huh. I think the problem is that the same logic that's telling the back walls to stay up is keeping the front walls. Well, no, the front walls are coming down here. So, pourquoi? Hey, Joy. Thank you for the follow. We have a Discord, Joy. Links in the channel page. It's in the About section. Can also be summoned with the Discord command. All right, so foreground's not rendering, or the foreground walls are not coming down, except along the very edge of the mask. I think that's the problem. I think we've got the logic around the edge of the mask, but it's not able to do it within the mask. And that I kind of want. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Because that means all the walls would come down. Maybe what it is it's time we plug in the local cutaway. So we have this compartment cutaway, and we have the editor cutaway blocks by cursor chords. I think we also need like a local, You can spin the map if you want to see a compartment better, right? Yes, yes. I actually don't know if the cutaway will work once I turn the map, but let's see. Okay, it goes back to cutaway by cursor chords. So no, it doesn't totally work, but yeah. If you're like, I want to see this room on the other side of the ship, but you don't want to cut away the whole ship, you could just turn the ship twice and look on the other side of the ship. Yeah. If you get stumped, you'll maybe post and see if anyone has any thoughts. It's almost certainly something very simple you missed. Just throwing more and more debugging at it right now. Yeah. It's like you just keep challenging assumptions until you get down to some of the most basic assumption and you're like, surely this assumption was safe to make. And then you look at the code and you're like, no, it wasn't safe. Like my bitwise utility function that did the literal opposite of what I thought it did. Yeah. You can get rid of that code. All right, so the problem's down here in the, well, no, it's not a problem. We decided it's not a problem. We decided what we need is we need a, so this needs to be exterior. So we could do this a couple different ways. So we've got cutaway blocks by cursor chords. That's like exterior cutaway blocks by cursor chords, and we could also have interior cutaway blocks. Yeah, so this one's going to become exterior. And then we're going to make an interior version that only works inside the compartment. Gonna copy it over for a second and then we'll modify it for our purpose here. Offset. No. So what we can do is we can say for each, we could actually make a new AABB, so watch this. So let's say AABB cutaway bounds equals new AABB cursor chords plus vector 3i, well, plus new vector 3i, I guess, plus new vector 3i 1 1 0 times 3 . This is not safe because this is also not aware of camera rotation. We're going to need to do a whole pass on getting camera rotation to work for the cutaways, but I'm not concerned about it right now. So what we want to do is we actually want to say cursor chords. So we can actually just say for each say block chords in cutaway bounds dot AA. Cutaway bounds is itself just an AABB. So this way we only need to look at these, and we actually don't need any you can just say cutaway.add block chords. think that's fine. Do I need this check? It's whatever. Safety first, then teamwork. I'm gonna clean this up. All right, so what we're going to do is here we're going to say, we're going to do all this, and then we're going to say interior, cutaway blocked by chords. Let's see how that does for us. It's probably what I want. Diginanigans, you fixed it? Huzzah. Was indeed something rather silly. You have your function that converts indexes from the smaller grid and gives you a value from the larger grid. Signature looks like this. Function offset index, index number, bounds, box range, offset number is number. Offset is how much larger of a grid you want to get the index for. Okay. You're saying it literally just gave you... You're foolishly passing in the larger grid's bounds and offsetting that instead of the original. Oh, lol. Haha. 3 ships for Digi. Here. When I say Digi enough times, people probably end up thinking I'm talking about myself sometimes. Like, who is this other Digi? But the only person who calls me Digi is Foolbox. Aha, okay, so here's a problem. That's easy to fix. No Jewel with the ship it. A whole fleet. Whole fleet for Diginanigans. My kingdom for a ship it. Alright, so this is easy. So interior cutaway chords. For each block chords and cutaway bounds, we just say if block chords is the same as cursor chords, just continue. Rhiannon Journey, you didn't realize until today that my editor allowed drawing floors and ceilings across multiple levels at the same time, and it's pretty neat. I know. I don't know how much longer the editor is going to support doing that. It'll probably always support doing that for floors. But yeah, it's pretty helpful when I'm just doing these test things. I think it's less helpful for like actual building purposes. But yeah, for testing purposes, it's really nice because I just fill this whole space out and then I just hollow it out in the same stroke. Well, not the same stroke, in a following stroke. So now I can make one room and then just slide down and make all the rooms. All right. Okay. Good start so far. Oh, that's weird. Is that acceptable? Maybe. Okay, I think this is a little too narrow. I think I want it to be a little bit bigger. So this is one solution, which is to have like a very close. I don't know if I love that. Because the thing is, I want to think about like, what if there's like pillars and like whatever and like stuff. How should that work, basically? Should it just hide all that stuff? Should it only hide this wall? Should it hide all the things in the compartment? Because if it hides all the things, you'll never see the compartment like in its normal point. So I think I just want this local cutaway, and I want it to be big enough that it feels like you're getting a good idea of what's going on. So yeah, I think we'll have compartment based at the large scale. Like, I think it's cool that you can, I think this will really help with things like doors, because the problem is if you make this stuff like just hide all the walls all the time, then you'll never see a door, because the whole wall will just get like torn down. And this way, if you want to make the door go away, you can, and it's pretty easy to keep track of what's going on in like a 4x4 grid or whatever. I think 4x4 is a little too small. I think I want 5 or 6. But we also need to introduce some edge cases. Oh, is that the time? Cool. I think we're getting close though. I can probably tie up these loose ends probably in my own time. This is RimWorld music that we're listening to, I feel like. I know it's not. It just feels like it. It's that wistful electric guitar with some like light synths. All right, so we're doing by 3. Let's go by 4. But I'm going to have to wrap up in the next, like, 5-10 minutes. But we accomplished the bulk of what we wanted to do today. This was a much more successful stream than yesterday. I think we'll be able to put the cutaway stuff to bed pretty soon. For the foreseeable future. At least until the next refactor week. When I introduce like a bit field struct or something. Gotta keep missing the wall. I also think I might have the scroll wheel hooked up backwards. So I scroll forward to go down and I scroll back to go up. I think that's correct. Some people would tell me that that's wrong. Some people want like the Apple style scroll and some people want the opposite. And you know, I don't know. I also need like an exception here. So if you try to cut away at the backside here. Ooh. What if we add this to the block mat? That won't work. No. I think we're close though. We're getting close. Ooh, that's better. This is a lot better. I just want you to be able to have enough visual context of whatever you're trying to look at without cutting away the whole thing. Shenanigans, yeah, you think doing the local cutaway for inside stuff works great? Feels intuitive? Yeah, I hope so. And so the compartment stuff is only really concerned about ceilings, the and exterior walls. And then for inside, we've got a little for like details. We could even have stuff like transparent stuff go through if we want more information. It's looking good. Thank you, Rhiannon Journey. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it for now. If I can add exceptions like this, like don't do this, like if we're on the back wall, don't expose the very back wall. I think that's a pretty easy check. I don't think I have time to do it right now, but that should be a really easy check to add in. Maybe I have time. I've got like 5 minutes. Let's see if we can add so we want to add an exception for when we get to the edge like this. So we don't accidentally hide something just because we've gotten to the back. Like if we click on the back wall, we don't want like the whole thing to freak out. I also need to eventually add in like some I need to add in some kind of safety thing so you can't just accidentally look past the ship real quickly like this. Yeah, I think we're gonna switch it so that when we're in edit mode, we only use this big cutaway thing, and then when we're in play mode, we switch to the compartment-based cutaway. Because this is better for editing. You can see a lot more. But I don't want this to be the way it works when you're playing the game. I would like something a little different. Something a little less in extreme. All right, so what we need to do if we want to avoid this, we need to have them check their negative neighbors. And if we have and if the negative neighbor is like the void, we don't want to cut it away. Actually, if it's just not part of this compartment, we don't want to cut it away. No, maybe it's if it's the void. We can always change that later. All right, so what we want to do to avoid that, that's fine. There wasn't enough behavior in here anyway. So what we want to do is we want to add some negative neighbors. Do I have examples of grabbing the negative neighbors nearby? No, I've actually been doing a good job not doing that, huh? I try to avoid like massive neighbor checking here. Block negative X is blocks.get or default. Block coords plus vector 3i dot left. Yep. Nope. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say if negative x dot parts or negative, actually we're going to say and negative y dot parts. I'm going to say bit dot has, we're going to say has any say, we can actually say cursor parts. Say ulong cursor parts equals blocks dot get cursor coords dot parts. Oh, I could say cursor block. Now let's be specific. We want to say if not. Oh, no, if it does. No, if not. Continue. Let's see if I made that a lot worse. I don't actually need to check multiple layers for this, do I? I can just check one layer. All right, so now, oh, it's doing it. And by doing it, I mean it's not doing it. But what if I do this? So it's still cutting that away, but if I go into the wall, it doesn't cut away this exterior wall. What if there's multiple compartments, though? Cool. We're gonna need some... Oh. What? Oh, that's a problem. Wait, what? Works here. Okay, there's an edge case. That's fine. We'll figure that out. That I can do. That I can do on my own. I gotta go do some chores and get ready for my second block of work before I'm free for the weekend. But yeah, I'm much pleased with the way the cutaway works. I'm glad we went back to this certain kind of cutaway system. But yeah, it works way better per compartment. I think it's pretty cool. Especially because you can see little details about the walls and stuff in the other floors. They're like almost entirely obscured, but you can see a little bit of information. Just like the littlest bit. And you get an idea for how far down the ship you are. I think it's alright. Yeah, I think we'll be able to go work on something else next week. Take care. Have a great weekend. Yeah, thanks. You too, Diginanigans. We're going to wrap it up. Gotta snooze the ad one more time. Pre-roll is over. Pre-roll is on. Because I didn't run enough ads. I'm a bad streamer. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. I feel bad for anyone who gets stuck in pre-rolls. I'm sorry. Bye, Rihanna Journey. No Jewel. Anyone else hanging out? Anyone lurking? Hope you all have a great rest of your Friday. We'll be back next week for our regular dev streams, and then maybe next Saturday we'll be playing Void War. I kind of want to play Void War, and I think it would be cool to play it on stream and talk about it in terms of design. And just enjoy the grim darkness of the not 41st millennium, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, thanks again. Have a great weekend. See you next time. Yeah, not playing, researching. So when I lose, it's for research, not because I did bad. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bye.